Woo! Oh man. Just cue the intro.
I found this song in Sweden.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Adam, and I just gotta say, bro, I don't care what y'all think. I don't care about anybody else's opinion. Titans episode 2 was lit. Oh, it's so okay. Look. I really enjoyed episode 1, but this episode is literally way better. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, bro, let's get into it. Alright, my boy Robin. Okay, so one complaint that people had about episode 1 was that, Robin's cocky, you know Dick Grayson, he's got an ego, he's kind of goofy about things, he's like, yeah, I'm badass, like, he kind of thinks he's cool, but he knows deep down his limits. He's just a jokester. And people were wondering, like, why is this Dick Grayson so serious? Everybody knows why he's brutal. It's because Bruce kind of broke him. And I had one of my good friends, Lazo, actually say, well, if he's trying to change from Bruce so much, why is he a detective? That's a good reason. I looked into it, and I figured out that the actor who plays Grayson said he still enjoys the thrill of being a detective, still enjoys the thrill of doing this type of work. He just doesn't want to be with Bruce in general because of how Bruce treats him and how much. It's not like when he says he's becoming too much like Bruce, he's not saying because of detective work. He's saying because of his brutal fighting. There was a flashback scene in this episode that took place 4 years ago where Hawk and Dove and Robin, and in this scene you can tell that Robin still works for Batman, because Hawk mentions, I thought your boss told you to stay away from us. And he's like, I didn't tell him. He's like, what's this? A night out with a bad kid? And he's like, something like that. But you can see in that scene, Grayson's like lighthearted. He has that kind of egotistical joke, like kind of type in his voice. Like when Dove is like, he always tries to make a good edge. He's like, true. Like you could tell he's like the Grayson we know. But at this time, he's still technically with Batman. So once he leaves Batman, he's broken. He became so much like him, he had to leave. That's why he's so brutal. That's why he told Dove in this episode, you don't know what I've become. He doesn't want to be Bruce, but he can't escape his wrath. Bruce was a part of his life. And I think by the end of the season, he'll finally find the way to get out of Bruce's shadow and become Nightwing, and not as brutal as him. And, yeah. Yeah, but that's enough about Grayson. We talked quite a bit about him. Let's get into Hawk and Dove. Alright, so I didn't really know Hawk and Dove that well, so what I did was I watched some videos on them on YouTube. I did some studying online. And I kind of understand the characters now. Like, I never really knew them. I came across them sometimes reading a comic book or something. Like, sometimes I came across them, and sometimes when I was watching Justice League Unlimited when I was younger, I used to see them in some episodes. So, like, I don't really know, like, I know of them, but I don't really, like, know their origins or anything like that. But I did some studying, and I gotta say, Titans did a well job of reinterpreting them, like. So let's talk about Hawk first. Okay, Hawk, man, let me tell you. They did him pretty well. He's like a pill-popping brawler. He drinks beers. Like, he's a tough guy. He's a big guy. Like, you can obviously tell that. He's a brawler. Like, if you got in a fight with this guy, this dude will not stop until you scream for mercy. Not even. He will keep punching you until he gets tired. This man's a monster on the battlefield, from what I've researched. And even in the show, he's just like that. Dove is more gentle, She's very calm. She has a background in martial arts and ninjutsu, and she used to have a dancing background. So she's more gentle. Even her voice is really gentle. She calms him down. She's like the peace, and he's like the war. But like somehow they come together and make one. So yeah, Another thing about Grayson, how a lot of people saying he's not the classic Grayson. Well, I have something to say to that. One more thing, at least. So basically, he's still Grayson, you know? Like, Hawk was saying, like, back then, he broke Dove's heart. He left her. He didn't talk to her because he was being selfish. And Robin doesn't want the responsibility of taking care of Rachel Roth. He trusts her. Like, he took her in for a reason. He's trying to do what Bruce did for him, you know? But at the same time, he can't handle it. Deep down, he knows that. That's why in episode 2, he talked to Dove about her staying there just for a little while, giving her some money. Because he doesn't think he can take care of her. He's not ready for it. I mean, Grayson's 23, and he barely survived his own love relationships. And he's just not ready for something like Bruce wasn't even ready. That's why Grayson goes through all this anxiety and this trouble. Not anxiety. That's why he goes through all these mental issues and these brutal issues. Is because Bruce wasn't ready. And look how Grayson kind of became brutal after he left him, you know? He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that kind of power to take care of Rachel when he can't even take care of his own. Yeah. But him and Hawk do not get along. Let's just keep it at that. Him and Hawk, you know, they have some conflict. They're not much alike. But dang, man. This episode, okay, so the nuclear family. Alright, so whoever watched this episode and saw that strange family, who was like a regular white family, right? And then they just start popping drugs, needles in their veins. Well, that's because, I did some research, and they're the nuclear family. Basically, it's hard to explain. Like, it's so much stuff to handle. I suggest you just go watch a YouTube video on them. They're really complicated characters, but, you know. They have appeared in the comics with Titans from time to time, so yeah. So, dude, like, I'm telling you, this episode, I enjoyed a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Honestly, I found this episode very interesting and great, and the ending, man, they ended it on that cliffhanger, man, I'm telling you, bruv. But, you know, it's honestly a great episode. I like it way more than the first. I really understand Hawk and Dove more. Yeah, so my final review for Titans episode 2 is, I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. The series is definitely progressing. And we saw more of the detective side of Grayson. And even though we didn't get to see Starfire nor Beast Boy in this episode, I can tell it's going to evolve into the Titans we know and love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and peace.